Bars versus pies. Pie charts are often used to show proportions of a whole, but they can be difficult to read. Notice how the labels are far away from the data. Your eye has to do a lot of back and forth tracking. Pie charts can also be hard to interpret when the differences in the size of the slices are small or when there's more than 8 slices to a pie. Consider using a bar chart instead. Labels can be easily placed on top of the bars, and even small differences are easy to interpret. Way 1, bar width. First, observe the width of the bars. The width should be 2 times as thick as the white space between the bars. Way 2, color. In this example, the decision to use a separate contrasting color for each category is quite distracting. Contrasting colors should be reserved for highlighting a specific result to capture the viewer's attention. Way 3, chart junk. The term coined by Edward Tufte is used to capture all the non-data elements of chart design for all data graphics. Most software for building data graphics by default includes some chart junk, and this should be removed. Again, these are the critical non-data elements. For bar charts, remove the tick marks on the X and Y axis, the frame around the chart, the horizontal and vertical grid lines. Also, keep the X and Y axis lines to preserve the structure and orientation of the chart. The result is a much clearer picture of the data. The chart is actually much easier to interpret even without the common features like grid lines. Way 4, Y-axis minimum and maximum values. Keep the minimum value of the Y-axis to 0 to prevent an over-exaggeration of the differences in the length of the bars as compared to the differences in the data. Set the max value of the Y-axis equal to or slightly above the max value of the largest bar. Way 5, scales and labels. You may notice on the Y-axis there are some negative values included below the 0 baseline. Sometimes the numerical data will include negative numbers. But is this the best way to represent that data visually? The eye naturally interprets the baseline of each bar as 0. It's better practice to always set the baseline to 0 and represent the negative bars as below the baseline. This helps the viewer easily understand that any bar below the baseline represents negative numerical data. Let's review. Bar size. Keep it twice as thick as the white space between the bars. Color. Always use with purpose. Use to highlight or annotate. Chart junk. Get rid of it. Y-axis. Set the Y to the max value in the data set and set the min value always to 0 for bar charts. Scaling. Represent negative values below the baseline. Follow those 5 rules to take your charts to the next level.